that was just beautiful. Okay. I thought I had all her CDs, but wow, that was so pretty. And if you are not familiar with Denise Rosier and you want to hear some really great music that supports our message, look her up on YouTube because all of her songs are just fantastic songs. They really speak so wonderfully. So good morning, everyone. It's good to see. It's good to see you all. I didn't finish that thought when I went on to the next one. Can you believe it's February 5th? It is the 4th. I was testing you. It says the 4th on my paperwork, but for some reason yesterday I thought I'm wrong and I'm happy. I get an extra day in the month. How cool is that? Yes, and an extra one on the end this year with leap year, yeah. And welcome everybody online. If you're local, we would love to have you come and join us and be here in person because it's just fun to be with each other. Emmett Fox, he was a New Thought spiritual leader of the early 20th century, said this. It'd be good if I turned this on. He said, "We are all supremely interested in one subject. There is one thing that means more to us than all other things in the world put together, and that is our search for God and the understanding of God's nature. The aim of the metaphysical movement is to teach the practice of the presence of God. We practice the presence of God by seeing God everywhere, in all things, in all people, despite appearances to the contrary." And at least for me, and I think for those of us in any type of a religious or a spiritual community, this is truly what our journey is about. It's about our personal experience and our expression then of the true nature of God as that nature is revealed individually through each of us, right? Because it's revealed differently through everyone, right? So as it is but when we don't have to be a monk to do that, that is a path to be able to really, dive into that and deepen into it. But to me, it means living the life that we have been given fully and allowing whatever that authentic expression is to come through each and every one of us. We're all needed. The diversity of that expression is so needed in our culture. So we are in our 3rd week of a 5-week series on the 5 basic principles of unity. I'm using the book by Reverend Ellen Davenport called The 5 Principles. The principles are, feel free to say them with me: God is, I am, I ask, I pray, I act. And we are focusing on God is for me, I am for me, my thoughts are for me, my prayers are for me, and my actions are for me. So we talked the first principle, God is, and we say this every week, the one and only presence and power in our lives, omnipresent, everywhere present, omniscient, all-knowing, omnipotent, all power. And we say in unity that God is good. Now for me, what that means, when I think of that which is good, I think of that which is expansive, that which is ever expanding. And I thought it was interesting. I was watching a program the other day, and they were saying that, when the Big Bang occurred, that it was thought that eventually gravity would either slow the expansion of the Big Bang or contract the universe in a big crunch. But what the Hubble Space Telescope is showing us through its images is that the universe's expansion seems to be accelerating, expanding faster and faster as it grows out of the Big Bang. So it's the nature of God is this expansion. And for me, that kind of explains why we all feel like life is going faster, huh? It's like whoosh. So the nature of God is expansion, and the nature of God is creation. So, and then our second principle, I am, is I am not all that God is, But all that I am is God, that I am that expansion. I am that creativity. I am that goodness. I am that love. There is no separation there. And speaking of Denise Rosier, one of her songs says, all the good that comes from above and below, I am that. I am that. All the joy and love that a life can hold, I am that. I am that. So it's that reminder that we already are, my friends. We are what we are seeking. It's already who and what we are. We've just forgotten. We've had some big amnesia around this, haven't we? But we're coming up out of this amnesia. Okay, so today we are talking about the third principle, which is I ask. The third principle is human beings create their experiences by the activity of their thinking. Everything in the manifest realm has its beginning in thought. Barry Englebright said, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change the way you think about it. So this is what? It's about the law of attraction, the law of mind action. How many of us have heard of that? Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind, and thoughts become things. Now, this is not just about accumulating things. It's not just about manifesting stuff, which is perfectly fine. But it's not just about manifesting the perfect mate or the perfect job or the house or the car, whatever. But here's what I will tell you, that all of those things are an effect of the process that we are directly involved in. And I think that's why the scripture is seek first the kingdom, and all these things will be added unto you. But what you're going to find is all these things were really not the source of what you were looking for, that it's really seeking the kingdom within us. So what today is about, it's about creating the conditions in our consciousness that support our greatest and our deepest desires, and that allow us to be authentically who we came here to be. So we want to create the conditions in our consciousness. Albert Einstein said, your imagination is your preview to life's coming attractions. What's going on in that mind of yours? We live in a participatory universe. We are co-creators. And what an incredible gift this is, my friends, that we have been given. We have been given this thinking mind so that we can co-create our life experience with that or in that which we call God. We are a huge part of this creation. And in the Reformation, you heard, we are co-creators with this universal mind. We shape and form and mold it, and it brings forth of its kind. So this is what this is about today. Now, we do not believe that we control every event that occurs in our life. People have free will to do what they want to do. Weather fluctuates. We have tornadoes, hurricanes, tsunamis, earthquakes, floods. The economy fluctuates. But what we do believe is that we affect every experience of every event in our lives based on our thinking. So something may happen, but it's our thinking that determines how we're going to experience that event. And here's, I love this and, that also as co-creators, that we have the honor and the privilege to create a desire with a strong intention through the power of our focused thinking, words, and actions, and literally manifest in our lives. Huh. Like that should have got a woohoo! Because that's exciting. That's amazing. And I can stand here from personal experience and tell you that just as AA says, if you work it, it works. It works if you work it, right? Here's the thing, my friends. It works even if you're not conscious of it. So we want to wake up and become conscious of it. So that's the first thing. How do we change our thoughts? Go to Ephesians. I love this. Ephesians 5:14. Wake up, O sleeper, and rise from the dead, that the Christ may shine the light on you. Wake up and quit and don't stay in that slumber where you're just kind of going through life going, well, this is just the way my life is. This is just as, this is the better, this is as best as it's going to get. Or, Wake up, oh sleeper, so that we can see that there is more to life than what our limited human consciousness has created. Yes? Yes. Yes? Yes. Okay. So the question I've asked numerous times throughout the years is, what are we thinking about when we're not thinking about what we're thinking about? Take a second. What are you thinking about when you're not thinking about what you're thinking about? When it's just that chatter in your mind. It's that stuff that's going on in your head. It's, what do you really believe? What do you really believe about your life and about what's possible for you? Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. So our words express our thoughts. So one easy way to begin awakening to realizing if our thoughts are for us is to begin to really listen to the words we're saying, but also to the words that we're saying in the silence of our minds. It's not really silent, is it? in our minds. It's inside out. This was from Atma Namaste, Spiritual Bliss. It says, do you live as if your cup were half full? How cognizant are you of the fact that what you say is directly correlated to the outcome you'll get? If you continually speak of your life as if you never feel good, things never turn out right, or nothing positive comes your way, you'll more than likely end up being right. Yes? Yes. I know sometimes, like, this is a big talk today on responsibility, and sometimes we don't really want to take that full responsibility, but that's what this is about. It takes a lot of vigilance to be the guardian of your thoughts, words, and deeds, and you're often at the mercy of years of conditioning that make you operate as if you're on autopilot. When you use language such as if only, I wish, or I can't, you're dismissing the possibility of today. Why maintain the familiarity of the past or nurse a fear of the future? And it has been said that our words tend to describe our reality, and what we want to do is we want to shift that to let our words describe our desires. Now, this does not mean that we bury our head in the sand. We do not teach that. We definitely say, look at what's happening today, do what you can do today, but then we want to start focusing outside of whatever that is if it's not something that feels good in your life, if it's not something that's lining up with what you desire in your life. So we want our words then, this is the whole crux of today, we're going to shift our thinking to, well, what is it that I do want? Out of what is happening here, or out of what has happened, what is it that I desire? And I want to focus on this. I want to start focusing on what it is that I desire. If we stay too much and we keep talking about the problems, what are we creating more of? Right, we're creating more of that. So again, we don't bury our head in the sand. We've been accused of that. Not at all. Do what you can today, but then we want to start to shift that. So Karen Taylor Good of Stowe Good, STOWE and then GOOD, two more amazing people that you should listen to if you like music, New Thought music. But Karen Taylor did a song called Get a Bigger Pan. And this song was based on a fisherman who was fishing, and he would catch big fish and small fish. And he would always throw the big fish away and only keep the small fish. So one day somebody asked him, why do you always just, keep the small fish? And he said, because my pan is only big enough for the small ones. So her song is like, well, then get a bigger pan. Dream bigger is what this song is about. Metaphysically, fish represent ideas, and we can either have goldfish-size ideas or we can have whale-size ideas. It really is up to us. And so we want to get a bigger pan, a bigger consciousness, get a bigger dream. Go outside of what you have even considered to be possible. And so I've shared this many times before, but it's so speaks to me every time. And that's when my second husband, so 10 years ago, he passed away. And the day of the evening that he passed, I really think he was in both realms, because he was seeing energy going between his hands. But one of the things that really struck me was that he was standing in the kitchen and he's looking around. I mean, he is seeing. And I finally said, what are you looking at? And he just looked at me and he said, people have no idea what's all around them. And it was just like, oh my gosh. Now, I didn't know what was happening that day. So after the fact, I realized he was actually seeing this realm that we aren't seeing with our physical eyes. And my point in telling that is to say, we are limited in our human mind capacity to begin to understand what is possible for us. We are limited in that. And so this is why we're going to create a vision, or we're going to create something, but we always say this or something better. We open ourselves up to knowing that this divine intelligence has infinite ways to bring about whatever it is that our desires are. And it will be better than what you could have even begun to imagine. So what we want to do is, as we start expanding our consciousness, we start focusing on what it is that we want. We want to give attention to those ideas and desires. Emmett Fox again said, attention is the key to life. Whatever you really give your attention to, you become. Whatever you really concentrate upon will come into your life. We grow into the thing that fills our thoughts as inevitably as the stream merges into the ocean at last. So here's the thing. Through what we give our attention to, we literally grow new neural pathways in our brains. And this is what we want to do. We want to grow new neural pathways. So in the last decade, scientists, there's been great advances that have taken place in the area of research, and scientists have discovered neuroplasticity. And that's a term that conveys the idea that the physical wiring of the brain changes according to the thoughts moving through it. Hear that. The physical wiring of our brain changes according to the thoughts that flow through it. And there's the saying that says, neurons that fire together wire together. And neurons wire together most when we are in a state of attention. And this is what quantum physics teaches us, isn't it? That things change according to our observation, according to our focus. And this is really what Freeman's workshop on infinite possibilities helps with, clarifying what it is that we want our focus to be and creating affirmations that support it so that we can keep our attention on it. So we want to, create things that help us shift to what it is that we want and keep our attention on that. It literally is rewiring our brain. The cool thing about this is the more attention that we give to that, and the brain starts to, the neural pathways, we create new neural pathways, eventually we don't have to work as hard at it because we've created the new neural pathway. And then you know what happens? Life gives us another opportunity to create a new neural pathway, right? Other things come up and we go, oh, yeah, I'd like something different there. We get to create new neural pathways. Merriman and Morrissey says that even a 1-degree shift in your thinking can cause a massive change in your life over time. When you create the conditions you need to shift your thinking even 1 degree, you have created the platform for future success. That change, 6 months down the road, takes you to a whole new place. If you will allow yourself time in your daily life to devote to making the little shifts in your thinking habits, even the smallest shift will make a big difference. And I hope that kind of eases any anxiety that you may have about this. We had a great class on anxiety this morning. That eases that anxiety that, oh my gosh, I've got to have this whole thing and I've got to be focused on this all the time. Even a 1-degree shift will make such a difference. Ellen Davenport, who wrote the book that I'm basing this on today, opens up the chapter on this third principle of I ask with the statement, let the fun begin. And I so resonate with that because I love, this is our opportunity to become like Walt Disney. He was the Imagineer. And he helped the people who were around him to live in possibility, to let go of why something can't happen, why something can't be, how somebody told me that this couldn't be or whatever, and to live in possibility through what? Through the power of our imagination, our I am generation. I don't know what the last part is, but anyway. But I love that it's, I guess it's not I am, is it? I'm a generation. Okay, anyway, just pretend I didn't say any of that just now. Okay, here's the thing. As I said, we're imagining all the time. We're imagining maybe where we're going to go for lunch today, or what that meeting might be like later, or maybe even what we're going to do today. We imagine what our day might be like based on the weather. How many of us have looked out at times and go, it's going to be a miserable day? Or oh, it just figures it would rain today. Or we may look out and say, wow, it's going to be a wonderful day. Look at that sun out there. Sometimes, and I know probably for most of you out there, it's probably not true, but sometimes we even imagine worst outcomes. And we play in that, don't we? How many of us have imagined having a conversation with somebody? We're usually imagining the conversation where we're telling them what we really think, huh? And we're good. We're in it. We may even imagine that we're not going to have enough money or enough energy, or that we will never find the most wonderful partner, or we're never going to have a job that we love. Let's go back to what Albert Einstein said. Imagination is everything. It's a preview of life's coming attractions. So this is why I say we have to wake up, and we have to start catching ourselves when we're imagining for our life what we don't want. Right? We got to catch it. Yes, I could have had a whole Imagineer session of how great life could be, but instead I spent the last 20 minutes on this drama that isn't even happening. Yeah, that's the thing. And how did it make you feel in that meantime? Blah, so we want to, just become aware of that. Our imagination is made up of our thoughts and feelings. And when our thoughts and feelings merge together, they become beliefs, and those beliefs steer our lives. So let's look at some tools that we can use to focus our attention on what we really want in our lives. And I'm just going to say a few. Affirmations are a great tool to help with that. Affirmative prayer, which is we're going to talk about next week. Written or picture visions, creating a vision. And I'm sure there's many, many more. So I want to share with you that I did my first vision board, and actually back then we called it a treasure map. I did that in 1994. And I started coming to the church in 1988. I jumped right into what is called a mastermind group, which is like a prayer group where you support each other's desires. But it wasn't until 1994 that I actually made my first treasure map. And and I did this because how many of us remember Carol Jones Realtors? Highly successful in her life here. Carol Jones taught treasure mapping workshops here. She taught all of her employees how to use treasure maps. So it was because of that I decided, well, I was in a job, but I knew I wanted something else. I didn't know what I wanted, though. So I'm going to create a treasure map, not knowing what I want. And I realized, well, really, it's not about what I want. It's about what I want to experience. So my treasure map consisted of words, and I found them in magazines and put them on a piece of paper. Things like, I enjoy my job. I can be authentically myself. I have great people that I work with. They're comfortable with my spirituality, because that was so important. Flexible hours. I had young kids, supportive relationships. And I focused on that vision board, that treasure map. For me, it wasn't a one and done. For some people, they can create it, but I want to recondition my consciousness. So I'm going to focus on my visions. I'm going to focus on my affirmations until they create a new neural pathway. Well, one day, I got a call from Christ Church Unity, aka Unity of Springfield, saying that the minister and his wife were moving, and would I be interested in taking the position of the secretary of the church? Well, I did. And, here I am almost 30 years later. And here's the thing. I had no clue where that vision was going to take me ultimately. That's the beauty of this, my friends. That is the infinite possibilities and limitless potentialities that exist in God. This or something better. Because it has been the greatest ride of my life to have been in employment here in the ways that I have had the blessing to be. So what is it that you want? Where in your life do you feel like you are ready for something to be different than what it currently is? And can you entertain the possibility that it can be? You know, I've shared that for years I've dealt with fibromyalgia. Fibromyalgia is an autoimmune illness that for me caused me to be in pain most days. And I dealt with incredible fatigue. And emotionally, if you're in pain all the time, it really takes you down emotionally. And so, but man, on my good days, I would feel into those good days. I would be like, yes, this is what I want to feel. This is how I'm going to feel. But I also had my internal visions that I would use. I even did on my voice recorder on my phone, I did a meditation in my voice of healing and of, how I felt. And here's the thing is that you're going to be guided, and this is what we're going to talk about with action, but you're going to be guided. You may have a spontaneous healing. I didn't. But I was guided one day to stop eating meat. That was a year and a half ago, and it has significantly changed my life. And I went from mostly pain days and crazy fatigue to mostly good days. And I'm not saying that works for everybody. Yeah, I'm just saying that's the power of a vision. If I stayed focused on poor me, woe is me, this is how my life is going to be like, I have no hope, I wouldn't have even seen the programs that I saw that even said, hey, you might try this. So to have a vision where you step outside of what is currently happening, that's the key to this, my friends. And if you can't say, let's just say that you're wanting to experience greater health, and you can't yet say the words, I am healed, it's okay to say, I am healing. That brings it to the present moment. I, at this moment, am healing. My body is healing. My mind is healing. Now, if you can go to I am healthy, I am whole, that's great. But if you can't believe it, if you can't feel that, because here's the key. It's not enough to have the vision, to have the words. We have to feel it. It's the feeling that creates the vibration, the energy that goes out into the universe and attracts of its kind. If you take tuning forks, and I actually bought some tuning forks, and because I was going to show you today, but I couldn't get them to make a sound. So I'm assuming they make sounds. I should have called John, but mine was attuned to these megahertz anyway. So I looked it up, and if you have all these tuning forks in a room, and they're all set to all different megahertz, I think they are, and you ding on a 400, the other 400s in the room will resonate as well. That's the law of attraction, my friends. To me, that's the clearest example of if I'm focused on that I am healthy, I am whole, I am healing, I'm putting that energy out into the universe, and the law of attraction is saying, yes, here you go. Here are some ideas, or here's a spontaneous healing, or whatever it is. If I'm focused on wanting a better job or creating more income in my life, how many of us would like to have more income in our lives? Yeah, that's a big one. If I stay stuck in lack, what am I part of continuing to create in my life? Lack. So I want to get over here into my dream arena, and I want to become the Imagineer, and I want to feel. If you can't see how it's going to come in, get out of the how. The how's not up to you. You just want to get into this area and play. What would it feel like? What if, Mendy Odlin, what if I had more than enough money for the rest of my life to do the things I wanted, to give what I wanted, to travel where I wanted to, whatever. What would that feel like? What would it feel like to be in an incredibly loving relationship with a partner? What would it feel like to wake up every morning and to go, I can't wait to get to my job today. I love my job and the people in my job. What would it feel like to wake up in the morning and get out of bed and you're free of pain, or you have energy? What would that feel like? That's where you want to get. You want to get to, what will it feel like? So this week for you is go play. Go play. Let yourself have some fun with this. Let yourself be an Imagineer. And like I said, get out of the how. We have a little saying that says, get out of the how, and you'll say, wow. So go play, go have fun, and I say to you, namaste. And there's one more week with Freeman this afternoon, so feel free to join us for that. So thank you, guys. Thank you. Yes, let's imagine our way to greater things. All right, so as our band and our ushers are coming forward, we have this opportunity, and we are going to Imagineer together that whatever it is that we have come here together to do in this ministry, that there is more than enough time, talent, treasure that is pouring into this ministry for us to do all that we want to do together. So can we imagine that together, that we celebrate at the end of the year, that we're not only in the black, but we're like tens of thousands of dollars in the black, and now we're having to make decisions on where we can give that to. Does that feel good? Yeah. Okay, let's imagine that together, and then let's imagine that for ourselves, and let's bless our gifts together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Is to encourage and inspire spiritual and personal growth by empowering each other to be authentically all that we came here to be. Let's speak together the affirmation for today's daily word. My thoughts are an open door to the good that my heart desires. My life is patterned after my thoughts. When I realize that the thoughts I think make the pattern for my life, I know how important it is for me to fill my mind with right and positive thoughts. If I need to establish order in my life, I must first establish order in my thinking. I do this by recognizing that I have power over my thoughts, that I can choose the kind of thoughts to think day by day, hour by hour. I have God-given dominion and authority within my own mind. I use this precious gift to open the door to all the good that my heart desires. I think expansive thoughts, and the door opens to new and wonderful experiences. I think productive thoughts, and I received an outpouring of right ideas. I think thoughts of health and wholeness, and my body responds with strength and energy and glows with vitality. My thoughts are an open door to all that my heart desires. The scripture for today is Proverbs 23:7. Please join me. For as he, man, thinketh within himself, so is he or she. Let's repeat the affirmation together. My thoughts are an open door to the good that my heart desires. As Sue comes up and rings the prayer bowl, please hold the following people in your prayerful thoughts for their highest and best: Les and Pat, Al, Jim, John and Amy, Ron, Mark and Beth, Pat and Mike, Pam, Valda, Marilyn, Rachel, Candy, Ainsley, Ann, Nancy, David, and Dee. Breathe in the sounds and the vibrations that are coming from the prayer bowl. We are breathing in the breath of God. Allow yourself to take in the awareness that the very Spirit of God, the Christ's presence, is within each and every one of us. Let us begin to relax, making it easier for us to move into meditation. Focus on the crown of your head, relaxing as you move down to your forehead, eyes, ears, lips, tongue, jaw. Roll your neck and shoulders to release any tension or tightness. Follow the relaxation as it flows down your arms, through your elbows, wrists, hands, and fingers. Feel and see the relaxation taking place in your body as you move down your spine and lower back. Relax your thighs, knees, calves, ankles, feet, and toes. Take a deep breath, hold, and exhale. We pray for the highest and best for all who have been placed on the prayer list by their concerned loved ones. For everyone on earth, we affirm health and wellness, safety and security, abundance to provide for one's needs, desires, and dreams, loving relationships, first with ourselves and with family and friends, guidance, inner peace, and spiritual transformation. We send out blessings to our spiritual community, our city, our state, our nation, all nations, with prayers of respect for the human spirit, safety, happiness, joy, abundance, and inclusivity. We visualize peace among all in our country, in all countries and all governments, especially those who are suffering in war-torn areas. We envision our country governed by persons who pursue liberty and justice for all, only making decisions based on what would be greatest for all concerned. With infinite gratitude, we share with those near and far the warm, inclusive, loving energy felt in this spiritual community. As we move into meditation, what thoughts do you want to focus your attention on? Expansive thoughts for new and wonderful experiences? Productive thoughts to receive an outpouring of right ideas? Thoughts of health and wholeness, strength and energy, vitality in the silence.